Have you guys ever heard the story about 8 and Bob? I know I get a lot of questions about it. I know probably a lot of you have heard the story. In case you haven't, since I have been asked about it, I'm going to give you the quick story behind this fragrance. First, let me go grab it over here. It's over here. This is 8 and Bob, for those of you who haven't seen this fragrance before. From the French niche perfumery. Look at the juice. You can see it's, obviously very light. This would be kind of a light citrusy fragrance, masculine definitely. Citrus, bergamot, ginger, very classic gentleman's fragrance. So what is the story behind Bob? Let me give you my story first. My personal story, first niche fragrance I ever owned. This is the gateway drug. Okay, gateway drug to the niche fragrance world. When I first stepped in here to Osmay probably 4 or 5 years ago, just because I was walking by one day, I came in and Maurice, he's very patient. He talks to you about what you like. At that time, all I knew were designer fragrances. I was wearing, I think at the time, Bleu de Chanel, probably the Eau de Toilette. And I liked those more citrusy fragrance, the Sauvages, those type. So when you come in, the closest thing to the designer world and that kind of freshy type fragrance is 8 and Bob. And so this is a fragrance that is a great gateway drug. I say great gateway drug because once you start into this niche world, there's no going back. It's like you progress. It's like when you start with in the drug world with marijuana and then you go to cocaine and then crack and heroin. That's what this is. This is the marijuana gateway drug to the niche fragrance world. So anyways, first one I ever bought right there. What's the backstory? Really cool. JFK, for those of you who don't know, that's the initials of John F. Kennedy, former president of the United States back in the 60s. Kind of was legendary glamour, Hollywood, just almost like a king here in the United States. The most closest thing we have to a king, that wildly popular. Well, in 1937, he was a college student, and he came from a wealthy family, but in Europe, they didn't know who he was. And he was traveling around France as a college student, and basically he went down to the south of France, and one day he met this guy, he smelled his perfume, he met this guy named Albert Fouquet, and he asked him, "What are you wearing?" And it turns out this Albert Fouquet was like a Renaissance man, and he actually dabbled and made his own fragrances. He had made this fragrance. That's what JFK was smelling. So, of course, he asked him if he could get it. The next day, JFK was leaving. When he got up in his hotel room, there was a note with a sample of this fragrance. Okay, and it says, this is the cool part, in this jar, all right, right there. So in this jar, you will find the dash of French glamour that your American personality lacks. That's pretty hardcore, right? That's like a nice French dig at American, because the Americans don't have that je ne sais quoi, that style, that fashion. So pretty funny. JFK goes back to the States, all right? And he was wearing this sample fragrance. All his friends, his Hollywood friends, he was friends with Hollywood movie stars. They're all asking, asking him, what are you wearing? This is like incredible. What is this fragrance? So basically, he then writes a note or a letter to Albert Fouquet back in France, and he says, could you send me 8 samples of that fragrance and 1 more for my brother, Bob. Bob was his younger brother, Bobby Kennedy, who also later ran for president of the United States. And he, of course, asked for this 8 and 1 more sample. So Albert Fouquet complies. He sends 8 samples with an extra 1 for Bob, and basically labels them as, here are your samples, 8 plus Bob, or 8 and Bob, for 8 and Bob. And thus, a brand is born. So that's the whole backstory. Is it true? Some people doubt the veracity. Some people, it's just a great marketing story by this amazing, French company. Whether it is or not, like anything in life, if you believe it is, it is. And I can't tell you the amount of people that come in here to Osmay and they're maybe kind of new to the niche world, and the first thing they ask for is, hey, do you guys have that JFK fragrance? I mean, literally, guys, like all the time. Hey, do you guys have that JFK fragrance? They come in, they smell it, and once they smell it, they want it. Absolutely pleasing, absolutely universal. It's an absolute crowd pleaser, and it's, you know, very safe, mass appealing fragrance. So again, if you are watching my channel and you're thinking about stepping into the niche world because maybe you're only doing designer fragrances now, or maybe you're a newbie, maybe you've just started wearing fragrances and this is totally new to you, you don't know what to wear. If you want to get into the niche world, this is a great way to enter. Just be careful though. It's like a gateway drug. I'm telling you, once you start this, you're going to keep going up the ladder to more hardcore niche fragrances. So anyways, there you have it. This is Joel the Nose coming to you again from Osme Perfumery here in Miami. If you have any questions about the story, anything you want to add to it, any other stories, put them in the comments below. I'd love your comments. Of course, if you haven't subscribed, I would ask you to subscribe to my channel. You can ring the bell for notifications, and of course, you can smash the like button if you liked this story. It was just a fun, cute little short story to tell you a little bit about one of the most famous backstories in all of fragrance that, whether it's true or not, has literally sustained a brand now for many, many years. Joel the Nose, peace and love, and I will see you guys soon. Out.